Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me in this video. Nnamdi Kanu insists IPOB is not terrorist group, accuses Nigerian government of disobeying 2016 court ruling. This is where everything will begin to get interesting again. Now, in the year 2016, after the proscription of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu took the federal government to court. When he took them to court, the Federal High Court declared in 2016 that IPOB is not a terrorist organization, that any organization championing for self-determination in a peaceful manner, blowing whistle and peaceful protesting can never be a terrorist organization, that the government don't have any proof that IPOB is a terrorist organization. This was the transcript of the judgment, as you can see in the public domain. Now, ever since then, the federal government now set aside the judgment. They did not even pay attention to the judgment. They started doing what pleased them. You know why? Because they hold the yam, they hold the knife, so they could cut any place they want to cut. So they have been disobeying court orders in this case. Now, one of the things that make me to love Nnamdi Kanu is because of his audacity, because of his mindset of challenging the powers that be. Because just imagine that the government set aside a judgment of a federal high court. They now go to another federal high court to ask the court to declare that IPOB is a terrorist organization. The two federal high court has the same jurisdiction. Nigeria is the only country where judicial rascality happen. Federal high court has the same jurisdiction all over the country. Appeal court has the same jurisdiction. And we have Supreme Court, which is above every other court. So if the federal government, the federal high court, had said IPOB is not a terrorist organization, why would the same government now go to another federal high court to tell the judge, come on, do this thing? We are the government, no level. But Nnamdi Kanu has come out to say, no, I won't agree. You see that judgment of 2016? That is the real judgment. Every other judgment that comes after it that you did not pay attention to it, as far as I'm concerned, you are playing game. I will not hearken to those judgments. We had a judgment in 2016 in Federal High Court that said that IPOB is not a terrorist organization. Anyway, let us go into the details to understand what led to this situation. Sahara Reporters published that Nnamdi Kanu insists IPOB is not a terrorist group, accuses Nigerian government of disobeying 2016 court ruling. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has maintained that IPOB is neither an unlawful organization nor a terrorist group. The IPOB leader, in a statement issued on Tuesday through his legal team led by his special counsel, Barrister Nnamdi, accused the Nigerian government of sidestepping a 2016 Federal High Court judgment that declared that IPOB is not a terrorist group or unlawful organization. Ejimako emphasized that the treason and treasonable felony charges initially brought against Kanu were all struck out on October 14, 2021 at the behest of the Nigerian government due to the absence of any evidence to sustain them. Now, and there is something that a lot of you don't understand about Kanu's case. Do you know that it was treasonable felony they charged Nnamdi Kanu? And when you are found guilty of treason, they will sentence you to death. Treason means you want to overthrow the government. And that is what a lot of people still think today, that people who are agitating want to overthrow the government. It's opposite. It is out of ignorance of some people to reason that when you are agitating, meaning you want to overthrow the government. No. Now, in the year 2021, the federal government could not provide proof of their treasonable charges against Kanu. What did they do? They now go back and charge him with terrorism. Terrorism is not like treason. Terrorism is just a minor, charges, depending on the level of terrorism charges anyway. So, what they charge Nnamdi Kanu, that he found association, he instigated violence, blah, 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 blah. And the court asked them that time, when Ozekome was championing the legal battle, where did this thing happen? Up to today, they are dodging it. So, we have interesting time ahead. Now, he stated that despite enduring an 18-month detention and 6 years of trial on these charges, the Nigerian government pivoted to new terrorism-related allegations following Kanu's extraordinary rendition from Kenya. Out of the article, if it is a government that reason, a government that has sense, just imagine, by the reason of kidnapping Kanu, and that is the reason why Nnamdi Kanu was fighting for the change of judgment, because Nyako is like someone that is working under duress. It's like someone that they put gun on your head. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do this. That was what Nnamdi Kanu perceived and said, no, this judge is biased. Nyako had to go. Okay? Now, by the virtue of kidnapping this man, he don't have any case to answer until he is being returned to Kenya. That is the status. That is how it's supposed to be. Now, I thank God for the Supreme Court judgment, even though the Supreme Court judgment later, because of fear, now directed them back to the Federal High Court. The Supreme Court judgment expressly, exonerated Nnamdi Kanu of all these things people are saying. Go and read it. It's in the public domain. Don't let people to deceive you. That anytime you hear Nnamdi Kanu, your head will turn upside down because you don't want to hear his name because his name sounds Igbo. Go and read Supreme Court judgment. Nnamdi Kanu never jumped bail. Nnamdi Kanu never formed a terrorist organization. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped. The military invaded his house illegally. So, what you people are even thinking, a lot of people are thinking about Nnamdi Kanu, it's never so. It's never so. So, I can't wait to see a day where the true justice will be passed on this matter. Now, let's continue with the article. Ejimako described this shift from treason to terrorism as dubious move by the federal government aimed at shifting the goalpost and prolonging Kanu's detention. Yes, they knew that the court was about to stroke out this case because nothing like treason there. They now cancelled the treason and charge him with terrorism. According to Ejimako, that is shifting of the goalpost. You shift the goalpost to prolong this detention, and their plan is working because the whole thing is delayed. Now, he noted that under Section 41 of the Criminal Code, treason requires proof of an intent to overthrow the state, a high threshold that was previously tied to Kanu's pre-2017 self-determination activities. Ejimako noted that following Kanu's controversial 2021 adoption, the Nigerian government reframed the case around terrorism, citing IPOB's 2017 proscription by then Attorney General Ebuka Obi and Indeed Justice Kafarati. According to him, the move was designed to criminalize Kanu's post-2017 broadcast and leadership, despite self-determination being a right protected under Article 20 of the Africa Charter, which was enacted by the National Assembly in 1983. Ejimako further stressed that Kanu was not arrested in Kenya but was instead adopted in what the Nigerian Supreme Court, Justice Emmanuel Ajim, condemned as a criminal adoption and an act of executive lawlessness. You can go and read the Supreme Court judgment, okay, for the above, statements. He compared the manner of Kanu's rendition to the tactics used by kidnappers to seize their victims, of which that is the reason why we call the federal government the criminal government. We call them the government that is the mother of all kidnappers. Okay, they went all the way to Kenya, according to Supreme Court, lawlessly kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu and brought him into Nigeria. And ever since then, kidnapping has increased in Nigeria. So they are the mother of all kidnapping. Now, the Supreme Court also acknowledged the egregious violation of international law and norms, e.g. extradition treaties and the Nigerian law, e.g. fair hearing and due process, consistent with the UN Working Group opinion in July 2022, calling Nnamdi Kanu's detention arbitrarily, Ejimako stated. Moreover, Ejimako pointed out that the Nigerian government disregarded a Biden 2016 Federal High Court ruling, which affirmed the IPOB is not an unlawful organization. He noted that instead, the government leveraged a procedural flaw 2017 proscription to justify Kanu's extraordinary rendition and continued prosecution. He stressed that the government's legal position remained highly flawed and will ultimately not stand the test of time. As a legal and political debate surrounding Kanu's detention continues, his legal team remains adamant that justice will prevail and the anomalies in his prosecution will be rectified in due course. This is the end of the article. Now, when you look at everything, controversies surrounding Nnamdi Kanu case, it is because of hate that could make someone to come out to talk against Nnamdi Kanu. It is because of ignorance that could make someone to come out to talk against Nnamdi Kanu. You don't have any proof, any reason to talk against this man. If at all you have been experiencing what is going on in Nigeria, There is no sensible human being that can stay in an environment where people are dying, people under siege, people are not going to farm, people are just dying like fowls. It is only a sane person that could stay in that environment and not ask questions. Nnamdi Kanu asked questions and he got answers. Are you asking questions today? Are you asking questions? Because we Nigerians, people from this geographical area, according to Awolowo, Nigeria is just a mere geographical entity. People from this geographical entity, they lack the logic and ability to ask necessary questions. How can you be in an environment? You are in Enugu, you see Fulani killing people everywhere. You are in Delta State, you see Fulani killing people everywhere. You are in Edo State, Ondo State, 20 people were killed yesterday. You don't ask questions. When is this thing going to stop? How is this thing going to stop? Who is sponsoring all these things? Nobody asks questions. But I don't want to, I am trying my best not to use any derogatory word, but if you are a kind of person that asks questions, you will understand that there is a problem with Nigerians. Inability to reason, inability to think, inability to reason. Ask yourself question, what is the solution? What is the solution? No, the government don't have the solution, the people don't have the solution. But only solution is that if they allow any community in Nigeria to carry arms, insecurity will end. That is to tell you that if Nigeria is not in the picture, insecurity will end. Yeah, Nigeria is the problem. If Nigeria is not in the picture, insecurity will end. They not burn anybody to carry weapons, say they enter any community. They will kill you. But look at Sunday Jackson, who killed the Fulani man that came to kill him. Supreme Court sentenced him to death. Thank God that every international community organization, both UN, are condemning Nigerian Supreme Court. That is not a justice. Nigerian Supreme Court, whether they are now Sharia court, I don't really know. So it is what it is, and you can't stop it. That IPOB is not a terrorist organization. We know terrorist organizations. Nigerian political parties ought to be terrorist organizations. Nigerian politicians are terrorists. They are terrorists, and time without number, police have proved it. When they arrested so many House of Assembly member, former council chairmen who are bandits. Things are happening in Nigeria. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think on the comment section.